I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good afternoon, Todd Nevins. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful afternoon?
Doing great. Thank you for having me on the show.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Please do tell us, what part of the world are you in right now, Todd?
I'm in downtown Austin, Texas.
Oh, sweet. Did you feel the hurricane? Did it affect you?
A little bit. We got a lot of rain. We were about 2 hours away from an area that was pretty heavily impacted. Yeah, Hurricane Harvey did some pretty bad damage pretty close to us, and we had some friends that were impacted, unfortunately.
I'm glad that no deaths, right? And it's just property. Wonderful. Well, Todd, Please do tell us which of your talents is responsible for us meeting.
Believe it's podcasting. I'm the host of the Go Hunt Life podcast, and I think the podcasting community, although it's pretty big, we're a pretty tight community, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, podcast and family. It's the same meaning, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I love that. Well, Todd, tell us a bit more about what you deliver on Go Hunt, please.
I deliver on the podcast. I interview people that were once seemingly caught in a career or life that they felt unfulfilled in, and pulled the ripcord to reinvent and rediscover and pursue a life that they had always dreamed of.
Yeah, amazing audience. Check out this podcast. You know, it's really fascinating to hear people who've really gone full-time blogging and traveling, amongst other things that they're combining with, right? So I was listening to the last episode you released, and it was really like I went looking for Divergent immediately, right? Yeah, it's really fascinating. I too hope one day to at least do like 1 year of travel. My idea is to meet everyone that I've spoken to, right? That should be fun, right?
I have had that same thought. Absolutely, man. That would be great.
Yeah. I love it. Well, who did you learn the skill from? The skill of uncovering life stories.
Sure. I combined my adventures. My wife and I sold everything we owned down to a few suitcases and stepped on a plane with our dog 8 years ago, and we moved to Mexico.
Wow.
And we lived there for 5 years, and then now we're back in Austin for a couple of years, and then we're going back to Mexico in March. And so I learned blowing up the comfort bubble had a ton of advantages. And then when we came to Austin, I raised my hand in one of the co-working spaces. This was a year and a half ago, and said, hey, I'm going to start a podcast, and I have no idea how to start a podcast, but if you could help me, that would be great. And the tech community and the people here in Austin, just the doors started flying open, and I started learning from all of them and the people that were podcasting ahead of me, and they taught me, and I launched.
Yeah, you're doing an amazing job. Wow. Yes, you are. Well, podcasting has its challenges, right?
Yes.
Like anything else. Why will you continue to repeat the skill of podcasting?
It's changed my life. It's opened up doors, and this conversation today is yet another example of the conversations and the opportunities that I never would have expected before I hit record for the first time. And I am just going to continue to hit record every week, and then have the ultimate privilege to share those stories with my audience. That's a humbling and honorable. It's an honor every week when I publish one out that my guests have provided me that privilege to do so.
Wonderful. Well, Todd, tell me one other thing. Before you tell me one other thing, what's the best way for us to connect with what you're doing?
You know what?
Follow you.
GoHuntLife.com is probably the best way, and then it has all of my social channels there. Or hit me up on Twitter at either GoHuntLife or Todd_Nevins.
There we go. But Todd, please do tell us one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
Exercised in the form of either running or biking. I bike to work, bike home, and then running has also been relatively consistent. So one of those two things, almost just about every day.
How does that make you feel?
Accomplished. It depends on if I'm working. If I'm running a lot, I'm normally working towards a half marathon or some big event. So at that point, it's very accomplished that I'm working towards a bigger goal. Right now, I'm currently not working towards a marathon. So at this point, it's either accomplished or the biking part, that's transportation. So, I mean, it's a required thing, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, which is very cool. So you do half marathons. I mean, carry me through that process. It's interesting how podcasters align with goal setting, right?
Yeah.
Carry me through that.
Sure. I've actually run 2 full marathons,
Wow.
and that's a whole nother level of commitment. It's been a few years since I've run a full, but the halves are a lot more fun, honestly. They're a lot more fun. The training is a lot easier, and it's a lot easier on your body. But yeah, setting those goals and then knocking them out, every day, every week. I go through a 4-month training program when I'm getting ready for a full marathon. And so it's pretty methodical. I know what I need to do every single day, and I just go through it, check it off.
That's fascinating. So just to someone out there who may be stuck in a rut is the word that comes out, right?
Yep.
Why they should do what you've done or even consider doing what you've done.
Have a game plan, and the consistent theme through all of the guests that I've interviewed is that they had about a year at a minimum of planning. And so they knew where they wanted to be 1 year from today, and they worked backwards and came to what they needed to do today, this week, to knock it off the list, whether it's start a company, start a blog, start a podcast, start something on the side, a side hustle, sell your stuff, you put your house on the market, sell your car, depending upon what you're going to do. Put all of those things down and then break it down onto a 52-week plan. This week, I need to do these 3 things. And that way it's not so daunting. It just, you pick it apart week by week, and you just put 52 different weeks down, and you knock them out each week, and you develop that plan. And in 12 months, you're going to be looking great. I mean, even in a month, you're able to look behind and think, wow, I am so much better off and so much closer to my goal than I was 30 days ago.
Yeah, I love that. Baby steps. Amazing audience.
Baby
we
steps.
are live with Todd Nevins. Hey, go check out his podcast. He is the podcast host of Go Hunt Life. Go Hunt Life. Todd, let's switch gears for a moment and let me now invite you into my time machine. And it's surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Todd, what is your earliest childhood memory?
When I was about 4 or 5, I remember Santa came to my house. Later, I learned that it was my uncle. But I was sitting on the couch the night Christmas Eve, and in came Santa bellowing out, and I sat there in shock on the couch, and my aunt was out in the front yard with the bells, ringing the bells like they were the reindeer, and he came in and delivered presents under the tree, and before I knew it, he had left because he had to go to the next house, and I sat there in shock that Santa just came in and delivered gifts, and I saw him.
Wow. So why do you think this? So you're what, like 4 or 5 at this time?
Yeah, probably 4 or 5 years old, exactly.
Why do you think this memory is so clear?
It was Santa. I think it was because it was Santa. That's why it seared all of the childhood joy into my memory at that exact moment.
Yeah, I love that. Well, can I offer or add to what you just described? So can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind? I love the idea of the fullness of the year occurs, and then at the ending it's the reward. I love how you and in your life are connected to that model where you set out something, just like you set out the year, right? The 52 weeks, right? With the plan. In the case of Santa, it's you're being a good boy, right? In the case of life, it's you're being intentional with the thing you desire so much. And as much as it's a quick bout where Santa came and left, and it's fascinating that you went to Mexico and left, right? But it's always connected to something that you're doing before the time to receive something after the time. That is fascinating.
Love it. You've nailed it. That is exactly it. I worked towards being a good boy when I was 5 years old, and in came Santa.
Yeah. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
I had to look up what songs were popular. Eye of the Tiger by Survivor.
Yeah, I could see you running up the steps to that song.
Exactly. Yep. Eye of the Tiger.
Love it. Well, Todd, we have arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to go pretty quickly here. Todd, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Not specifically. I am passing on all of my skills to the people behind me that are wanting to get started here in Austin with their own podcast.
Sweet. Now, you said you're married, right? How long have you been married for?
16 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
No.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes, very tight.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
About 10 hours a week during the NFL season.
Oh, that's understandable, right?
Yes.
What about screen time? The phone and or the computer, is it more than 8 hours a day or less than 8 hours a day?
More than 8 hours a day.
Hey, we didn't plug your business and what you do on the business side. You want to throw that in here quickly?
Yes, I'm also a AdWords consultant to startups and small businesses, so paid search marketing consultant.
Yeah, there we go. Is going through Go Hunt Life the best way to connect with that? Or do you have another website?
For that, it would be clickplacement.com.
Love it. Clickplacement.com. Hey, Todd, after having 1,001 conversations in 3 months, I came up with a workbook, and the name of it is yours, and it stands for your own unique real self. Connected to that is your own unique real statement. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, your mission, something that represents who Todd Nevins is, what would you say that is?
Every so often, pull the ripcord and blow up your comfort bubble, because life begins at the end of your comfort zone.
Go hunt life.
Go hunt life.
Todd Nevins, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
You're doing it as well, but if you want to get a free master's degree in something that you are passionate about, start a podcast, interview the experts in that field, and it might just change your life.
Love it. Todd Nevins, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.